If you're watching this video, then I assume you're here for Dathea, and if so, strap the fuck in, cause this is a fun as fuck fight, but also one of the most difficult per Arcane game. So, first, I'm gonna do a different approach. I'm gonna show you my prep. Mainly what my timers are gonna be like. Essentially, I am sending my cooldowns on cooldown, except for twice where I delay for the Cyclone. I'm gonna send at 7 seconds, and then I'm gonna mini in like the first suck, the Cyclone. I'm gonna platform Surge with my big cooldowns, which includes Lust and Trinket and Pot. Then I'm gonna come back, do a mini during the suck, Surge during the knockback of the other platforms, like the other groups, knockback. And then I'm gonna delay my mini by 10 seconds so it lines up in Cyclone, and then Surge on my platform, then mini in Cyclone, Surge during the other platform's knockback, and then mini and Cyclone, and so on and so forth. For the last two, you just send on cooldown pretty much because we're all on the main platform. The rationale, you might ask me, why are you delaying? On this fight, once again, as I've always been preaching, the most important thing is to always stand in your rune. The thing that makes you leave your rune no matter what, with no counterplay really, or at least without being a degenerate, is when you have to deposit your mark onto the ad. If you stand near the ad and you deposit, great, but then you have to move away to let other people through. Otherwise, you're going to be continually taking space near the ad, which is not great to do. Instead, the Cyclone has no marks coming out. You're just fighting the winds through the use of ice flows, presence of mind, and even like Ice Nova if you're really desperate. You can get a really good burst off, mini burst, pretty much perfect during the Cyclone. It's really reliable and the timing works out great. My defensives are plotted out here, but yeah. So now to show you the actual fight. Just a forewarning, there's going to be a lot of like very minor mistakes in terms of like, oh, what do you do after shifting power, stuff like that. This fight is hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I've made these mistakes because I'm like quite a few pulls into this boss and it's very intense. But the reason I smashed rank 1 by like, a lot of damage, I don't know what the actual number was, is because every single burst was perfect. I was in rune the entire time. Everything was phenomenal. So that's the thing to focus on, as always, as I've always been preaching. But let's jump right into it. First things first, we're going to be Arcane Explosion spamming. For the clear casting missile, I'm going to evocate at 7 seconds so that I can Arcane Blast into Orb Opener. You can even rune before the Arcane Blast Orb Opener. So I'm going to evocate. I don't typically like to rune before it. I like to just Arcane Blast Orb. But, sometimes I also still rune XD, as I just did it. Get your max stacks. Well, 15 stacks minimum. 15 to 20, and then you're going to orb and then go straight into your burst. As I told you before, I am not using my trinket or double lust here, so you're going to see me just do a naked surge. So I'm just going to go into it, Arcane Blast, Nether Tempest, Arcane Surge, and then I'm just going to barrage because I don't have double lust, so I'm not going to queue up a barrage, or an Arcane Blast, sorry. And then I'm going to Arcane Missiles, Blast. Note that I am standing somewhere near the ad, so that if I do get the first spark, I can deposit, but I'm baiting at the back so that I'm useful for the rest of my team. Because you want to bait the tornadoes at the edge, right? I'm missiling here. I'm slowly inching towards the ad in case I get the second one. My weak card is bait tornadoes. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to missile here. I technically could have barraged at the end of that rune of power. That was a mistake not to do that, but it's not a huge mistake. Instead, I'm going to barrage at the end of this surge instead, as you see me interrupting my blast. Kind of embarrassing that I had to cast blast first, but Shifting power. Arcane Blast because I just need to get going. I cannot afford to wait for this Arcane Orb that's coming up. Straight away I'm getting my Harmony and then straight away going to my Rune. Rune, Radiant Spark, Arcane Blast. And notice that I alter timed by the way here. I throw my alter time, I start casting my blast and I start ice flowsing at the end. I'm utilizing the ice flows bug where if you use it at the end of a cast or you refresh it at the end of a cast, so you add another stack to it, you will not consume a charge. Very, very powerful tool to use that bug on this fight. So you see I cast one cast, like I was mostly standing still but moved at the end, but I have 2 charges left despite only using 2. So now I can Arcane Blast, I palm for my last Arcane Blast into a Nether Tempest, and then I'm going to touch Barrage, Touch of the Magi. I'm going to missile. As soon as I'm out of my rune, I'm going to snap my alter time back. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened here, but some shenanigans happened and my character went flying. I think it's to do with like, where you're facing when you press Alt time the first time. I probably just didn't take note of where I was looking. So when I teleported back, you face that direction again and I went flying. So my last Arcane Blast unfortunately did miss the end of my rune. But, the idea was there. We go back into it. Usual stuff. Not gonna talk too much about this, just because it's basic stuff. I barrage here. Throw my, right here I'm building my harmony. You might ask yourself, why are you just naked missile casting? This is bad. Yeah, on a sim it is bad, but I know that there is a period of heavy movement coming up here where I need to run to the ad and get knocked up, and I need to mirror image and evocate and do all these things, and I need to just make sure that I have my missile stacks. I am by far the biggest carry on the platform, so I want to make sure I have every bit of damage that I can have for the platform carry. Like, sure, optimally for my damage this might not be ideal, but ensuring that I have 20 stacks on my platform damage, which might be in fact best overall for my damage, is to ensure that I am as strong as possible for this upcoming platform. So I'm going to be yes naked missiles until I get to 20, because why not? Get to 20, I throw an Arcane Blast. Now I'm just kind of like filling and using up my mana. You might as well before you evocate. I'm on first platform. I probably should have mentioned that. First platform. I'm just kind of waiting for the call. I'm here now. We know we're going to green. So I get in position. I'm spending my spells. I'm killing the ad. I mirror image and evocate, or evocate and then mirror image. Either way. Go. I've already mirror imaged. And then I lust, Radiant Spark, do my usual rotation and just send on this ad. Now, a lot of people might send their AoE rotation here, the AoE search. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to send my single target search. Main reason is because if I single target this ad, which has triple HP of everything else, then it's going to die at a similar time as the rest of the mobs. If you notice who's on my platform, we have a Windwalker with some cooldowns, not too much. Our Evoker does not have cooldowns. He's mostly there for CCs. And a Shadow Priest with some cooldowns and PIing me. Yeah, that's his main thing, I guess. We have a Rogue also without much cooldowns. I am by far the biggest damage contributor to this ad. I would show you the log, but I just didn't pull it up. I'm doing like 7 million out of 12 to this ad. And I'm AoEing as well around it for like 7 million roughly. If you look at details right now, I'm not even on the meters. Watch in 10 seconds. But yeah, I'm single targeting for that reason, so that they all die together, because that's what's useful for prog. Maybe if I had somebody who like can slam single target on the volatile infuser as well, then I could get to AoE, but I don't, and I'm not going to divert the resources from my raid to do that. I'll just, get rank 1 while being ethical. So I'm going to single target, Nether Tempest, Surge. I'm going to queue the Arcane Blast for the Barrage, Touch, Missile, and now look at the meters. I'm shooting up real hard. I moved there, probably could have palmed, but it was fine. I Barrage for Execute because the guy is low. And now I'm at 200k DPS. Yeah. Spend my Missile because the next thing that I want to do here is going to be my Mini Burst. Very important. I need to Shifting Power and get Harmony. Notice I'm not barraging in because I cannot afford to drop Arcane Charge stacks again. So I should be ideally getting my Harmony here, but it's not the end of the world. I'm going to Shifting Power. Ideally, I'm going to Greater Invis this as well. But I land, I get my missiles off. So I'm now ready for the burst. Straight away. Get into my burst, Greater Invis, just a little bit of mitigation. Once again, I've altered timed, used Ice Flows, get the first stack, second stack, third stack with a Palm, fourth stack with a Palm, Nether Tempest, Barrage Touch. Slightly out of range, almost out of range of my rune, so I snap back my alter time. This time I fight the flying after the alter time situation. And you notice that I'm doing it in Cyclone with rune up the entire time on me. I finish my burst and now I can stand still. I move on to the ad to instantly deposit, predicting the mark spawning on me, because you might as well have one guy doing that. And now we're kind of just filling, nothing fancy. Next thing I need to keep in mind is we're getting ready for my next burst. This is where my mind is at, right? As soon as you're done with one burst, how do I get ready for the next one? I'm evocating soon. My next burst is going to be during the ad knockback, so I need to make sure that whenever I start casting it, I need it to align in a way where I can really utilize whatever cast I'm doing as the knockback is happening. If I rune and then start casting something that's not going to finish before the knockback like sends me flying, then is that worth it? Can I utilize ice flows if I'm flying? Maybe I can. Maybe I can't. Just, things in my mind that are flying. Pardon the pun. But yeah. Oh, also of note, I should have mentioned this earlier. You'll notice that I do not use Presence of Mind here at all for DPS because I need to ensure that all my bursts in the Cyclone are perfect. The micro optimizations of like Palm, Arcane Blast into the last millisecond of like Rune of Power or Touch of the Magi is not worth fucking up my burst. Need to make sure that those go off. But yeah, so I'm just going into it. I'm just burning mana here. I'm going to evocate because Rune is in 5 seconds. I'm evocating. It's going to start the knockback. I'm like a little scared, so I start Radiant Sparking. And then I Rune Radiant Spark. And as I notice that I'm not going to finish, I'm going to commit an Ice Flow, as you can see here. And luckily, I barely get it off before. I'm playing Shimmer. No, I'm not playing Shimmer, sorry. I'm playing Blink. But notice that I do get my Blink off perfectly. I get my Radiant Spark off luckily as well. That was a little fortunate, I'm not going to lie. But now I'm back in my Rune. Everything's set up. It's as if I was dummy testing, you know? Slap my shit. I need to deposit on purple as my raid leader call. So now I'm utilizing my Ice Flows with my Arcane Surge to drop a new rune near my ad. Right? I don't care about that old rune now because I'm getting a new one in a second. So I'm going to Arcane Surge, Barrage, Touch, Missile. I'm going to dip out my rune for a half a second and I'm going to get right back into it. I move away just to give people a little more room. And now I'm bursting again. A guy comes near me, I see that I need to move for him, right? Because if I don't move, how is he going to get through to deposit? I'm going to be inting my raid if I don't move. So I use my Palm, Arcane Blast, move forward. I give him an open space now, he can move through safely. Be a good raider. Do not be greedy. Now I can use my second Palm for the end of my Rune of Power. So it worked out anyway for my DPS. I barrage a little early. I don't like milk the surge. Not a big deal. Get stacks again. I'm going to Shifting Power. The reason I do not worry about my Harmony quite yet is because I know this one is the one that I'm delaying for the Cyclone, right? But because I know I'm delaying it, I need to get my Harmony ASAP because the Cyclone is happening very, very soon. So I'm just naked casting. I get 15 stacks. I start casting a little bit. I say, oh, okay, I can get one more. I miscounted. I missile one more. I Ice Flows to Rune here. Ideally, I shouldn't be doing this. I should have already dropped my Rune Radiant, but I was a little slow with my Harmony because of those previous blasts. I should have done one more missiles, but it's okay. Gonna Rune, and you can see me, you can see that it's biting me back hard here. I end up like, getting a weird burst here. So I Rune Radiant Spark. The Radiant Spark barely lands. And notice how, by the way, I'm constantly shifting back and forth because when you're facing the edge and running, you're a little bit faster instead of like backpedaling, But I'm also turning back to the boss to make sure that I get my cast off, or else it's gonna say, oh, target not in line of sight. So I'm constantly shifting back and forth. Arcane Blast, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So now I just commit to the Arcane Blast, because I need to. I Arcane Blast back, or Auto Time back, do one more Arcane Blast, Arcane Blast. Normally here, the rotation would be to Nether Tempest. I noticed that my rune is expiring. If I Nether Tempest, I'm losing 40% of my barrage damage here, because my rune is going to expire. That is not worth it. I don't know the math or the sim behind it. I'm just telling you right now, that is not worth it. So I commit a barrage straight away into a Touch of the Magi, and then I'm gonna Nether Tempest. And I can even use for movement. Straight away I use my missiles, get back into the usual thing. I'm using missiles here for moving once again. I'm not utilizing my Nether Precision, so it's not absolutely perfect here, but it's, you gotta be ethical. Arcane Blast, missiles. Notice I'm not using Palm once again for DPS. That is a conscious effort and a conscious choice. As I say that though, funnily enough, I probably could have used it there because my next burst is on the platform and there's not going to be a Cyclone there. But just in case. You don't want to mess up your burst. So I'm missiling here. You might ask yourself, why am I not barraging? Same thing. I want to be as powerful as I can for the platform, right? It's not the end of the world. I can burn some mana. The DPS difference between spending my mana with blasts and missiles is very similar to barraging, unless it's an execute. I get in position, mirror image, evocate, but now I'm ready to blast again. I'm at 100k right now. I'm about to send this ad to Zimbabwe. Like, I'm about to send this guy to the Shadow Realm, bro. I land, Rune, Radiant Spark, Trinket, and single target burst again. I'm always ready to move for those bursts if they come on me. Those little white things. But yeah, concentration, so I'm just sending double missiles. Get into it. Unfortunately, I did interrupt my blaster. I was a little scared. I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah. And then I send my barrage because it's execute. And then just continue missiling. Orb. Notice here, once again, I do not barrage. Why? Because I know I need my charges for the mini burst that's about to happen in the Cyclone. So I'm spamming just other spells, you know. Technically here I should have been shifting powering, but if I shifting power this ad might die like half a second slower or a second slower. I don't want that extra tick of damage to happen. So instead I just commit to doing actual damage to the ad, like 76k blasts, you know, instead of 5k shifting power, being a little ethical. And then instead here I'm going to, I think I ice flows and then shifting midair. Oh no, I invis midair and then I do a shifting. I know I invis a little early here. I probably should have done it after I landed for the Cyclone, but I don't know. Maybe I was just a little confuzzled or something. But yeah, we get straight back into it. I ruin Radiant Spark. I miss out one too many times, but it's okay. As soon as I ruin, I alter timed, right? Radiant Spark, Arcane Blast, teleport back, Palm Arcane Blast, Palm Arcane Blast, Ice Flows, Arcane Blast, and you know, doing that little camera jiggle back and forth. Nether Tempest, Barrage, Touch, and now I can DPS again. Chef's kiss, you know? Staying in ruin the entire time. I get a mark on me, I need to deposit, but also at this point in the fight, you can completely immune marks if you can. After the third platform, immuning marks is a good idea. As long as the ad is already up, like the ad for the next platform. Like you can see over here that it's already spawned. Because all these marks that we're depositing are now into the last ad that we're never going to spawn with our strategy. We're just going to leave it there at 90 energy when when we're filling it up, and we're just going to hold on to it. Main reason is why would you spawn the ad that you need to kick and maintain aggro of and like make sure that it doesn't die and deal with the knockback when you just have one mark extra on us, one player. Like it doesn't even hurt that much. So I just ice block it here, and I'm just sending. Yeah, just DPSing now. Now I'm thinking, what's my next burst, right? It's my surge on the main platform during the ad knockback, the same as before. You know, remember the one where I got sent flying with a Radiant Spark? This time I know my timers are very slightly delayed, so I opt not to rush. I'm gonna evocate at 5 seconds left of my rune, right, like you normally would. But then I realize, oh, I can evocate now, but the ad blowback is about to push me. If I evocate, I will need to cancel my evocate to blink to not like get knocked off, right? So I instead cast a missile while moving, I blink and evocate straight away. And I think, okay, I have this free movement ability right now for 4 seconds, so what can I do with it? I say to myself, I don't have block, so if I get a mark, I can deposit it into an ad, right? So I take this time, this free cast, to actually move towards the ad to pre-position. Now if I drop my thing here and my raid leader tells me to deposit, or it spawns on me and I instant deposit, that's a great play. And guess what happens? Boom. Straight away, instant deposit. If you're progressing this fight, you know the value of like how important it is to just start sending those marks ASAP. Especially on the sets where you do one by one, it's really important to start that chain ASAP. So I pre-position, drop my rune here, and I just go. And there's enough room around me and like not enough, not much clutter around me to make other people panic if I'm standing a little close. But notice I do still move away like from my rune a little bit so they have room. My raid leader is like actually right behind me, so he knows I'm doing this. I'm setting up my burst. I nether tempest, and I want to start arcane surging. And I'm noticing the guy next to me isn't depositing. He's not depositing because of the debuff on us, but in my mind I'm like, oh shit, am I fucking my raid? So instead I ice flows and move away, just to give him a little more space. Because why not, Barrage touch, missile, and back into the normal rotation. But notice now I'm in execute. You might ask yourself, well, it's 6 minutes. Why haven't you lusted? You could have lusted. Well, yeah, but my trinket's in 50 seconds, my potent's in 24 seconds. We learn in this channel. We learn that you want to sync up your cooldowns because you only get one more lust, so sync up that lust with your other things, right? If you guys have watched my previous video, especially my Teros one, you would know that by now. And I believe you guys have. Because we're gamers. But yeah, we're sending. At this point now, I'm a little more loose with my movement because I know that I'm not going to be like battling demons anymore too much. Because I'm on the platform for the rest of the encounter. But in any case, I'm still barraging to land and execute. I'll rewind that a little bit. I'm doing the usual stuff. If you use my weak aura here, the time to send it is like towards the end of the yellow indicator and the very beginning of the green. That's safe territory. Too late into green might not land because the boss is a little bit bigger. Not quite Senarth or Teros, but a little bit bigger, So the moment here I'm doing this cast and I see yellow, I'm like, oh shit, I need to barrage right now. So I barrage, and then it lands. You can see here on my scrolling battle text, barrage lands before touch explodes. I missile, I see this thing moving on me, so I orb for movement, and then I move with Arcane Blast. get in position, missiles, just reposition a little bit, and then I'm going to shifting power. And now I'm going to go into another burst. I missile because I need to buy time. One more GCD. I use ice flows to get to the back, and then I start ruining. And at this point, I alter time, and then I'm like realizing, shit, I don't have ice flows because I used that one to move away from the ad, and I used that one earlier with an arcane blast like a few seconds ago to move away after my orb for movement, which was a mistake. So now I'm empty. I technically have palm for 2 charges, and I can cast for 1 charge. I can also ice nova technically for the first charge. Like, you know, the 0 to 1, which is not buffed at all. But I end up here canceling, unfortunately. I don't know really why. I think I was just not in line of sight. I commit my Radiant Spark because I know I fucked up. I Arcane Blast, and then instantly I alter time back. Somehow Blizzard make this make sense. I get knocked out from the tornado that hit me before I altered back. You'll see here. Let me rewind. This was some bullshit actually. I Radiant, I canceled it because I was line of sighted or something. I commit my Arcane Blast. This one is about to hit me, but I alter time back, but it hits me anyway back here. I don't know, man. So it sends me flying, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I blink back, and I already palmed for 1 Arcane Blast. So I blink back, I palm again, and then at this point, I'm in the similar situation again. My rune is almost done. My Arcane Blast is casting. It is so incredibly tight. This is very niche now that what I'm about to tell you. There is the slightest window where your rune expires, and you can still fit something in. But luckily, I think I was safe here anyway. It's like a 1 second window, but I have 0.9 GCDs left, 1.2 seconds left of my rune. I have 1 second left of my Arcane Blast to cast. So I'm like, okay, obviously I can't Nether Tempest here, right? Like usual, so I send my Barrage. Literally 0.1 seconds left. I send my Barrage, I touch. You can see here it crits 500k. That's definitely a Rune of Powered Barrage. Otherwise it would not do 500k. I missile. Obviously I Nether Tempest as well afterwards, right? Because I need to get it up. And then I'm in execute, right? So I send my Barrage and then to a Harmony. Arcane Blast, missiles. And now I get a little bit of breathing. A little bit of but I'm about to send my breast again in 5 seconds. So I'm just kind of getting my stacks up and doing some shenanigans. I'm a little bit panicked. But, you know, I'm trying to maintain composure. My rune is in 5 seconds, so I start evocating. At this point, my timers don't matter. The timers that I've set in the past don't matter because at this point, it's kill the boss time, right? There's no mechanics, just send. So I'm evocating. I rune. I lust. Radiant Spark. Trinket. Arcane Blast. Arcane Blast. Arcane Blast. Nether Tempest. Surge. Now, as I'm casting this, I look at my Touch Magi and I'm like, what the fuck? Why is it 4 seconds left? And it's because of the shenanigans on my previous mini burn. Because of that, it delayed my Touch of the Magi by like 2 GCTs roughly due to like the shit that happened. So now I'm a little bit delayed. So instead here, instead of casting an instant barrage, I literally just AFK for a second. And then I go into a barrage, a blast barrage when I know it's going to be okay. I blast barrage and I know it has travel time, so I barrage and then instantly Touch of the Magi as it comes about. I'm spamming this button, and it you know, it lands. It hits like 855k or something because I have trinket spot and everything up. And then I, you know, do the usual stuff. Missile, Arcane Blast, Arcane Blast, Missile, Arcane Blast, Arcane Blast. You know, using my stuff. My rune is like 1 second, like millisecond left or whatever, so I'm gonna barrage here, and it lines up with my Touch of the Magi execute window. Very important lineup during execute. And then yeah, I utilize my what the fuck just happened? I don't know why I did that. Sorry, let me get back. Yeah, barrage touch. Oh, 955k. Holy shit. That was a huge crit actually. Yeah, so I'm about to utilize my my Rune of Power milking and my Touch of the Magi. And then also I missile and then I see that I have half a second left. Okay, great time to milk with an orb, right? So I orb and then shifting power. Just moving, making sure I'm safe. Get this blast off, I'm confident boy. Just blasting because I don't have any clear castings right now. I get a mark on me, I have mirror image, I can tell here, so I just use it. I'm alter time at full HP. I rune, Radiant Spark, blast, 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 Nether Tempest, and alter time back to heal myself. At this point, like I'm just kind of like battling demons. I just need to live. This is really intense. I barrage and Touch of the Magi. I do have Invis. On my note, I was supposed to Invis in the middle of this, but I'm sending, bro. Like, because the thing is, if I waste this burst, this is like the last contribution I have to the fight, so I might as well send it and then die, you know? I probably should have, like, Invis at this point, but the fight is over. Probably bad practice. I mean, I also had health on, to be honest with you, but I knew the fight was dead. Like, my Touch of the Magi will probably kill this boss in a second. So I'm just missiling here, and then I die, but the boss dies too. Oh, my throat is getting dry now, but there you go. This fight is insanely fun, insanely intense, and insanely difficult. I hope this has illuminated a little bit and helps you guys when you reach this boss. The timings on these is really fun. I hope you enjoyed as much as I do, but I will admit at the start it was incredibly frustrating. I was hating this boss. But on this day where I kind of like solved my timers and everything was good, it was excellent. I had a lot of fun. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Good luck on Dathea.